Quite recently, I've learned how to align front wheel axle shaft. Well, perhaps you already know it, but I didn't, so I'm going to show how I do it. It is actually a very easy and simple task, and the difference it makes is quite significant. The rolling resistance become much more less. At the traffic light, when I release the throttle, the bike just rolls way more than I anticipated, so I have to apply more brake. Handling wise, it's more natural and smooth. Maybe this bike was initially a bit wonky, and on off-road I can't really tell the difference, maybe because I'm novice, but it is very easy and simple and effective, so I highly recommend anyone to check in it. So what is alignment? It's basically the height, the level of the axle shaft. If it's like this or that, then obviously tire is going to be like this or that, so it should be straight. So in order to straight level the axle shaft, then the both side, the bottom end of the front fork should be leveled. In this case, a CRF 250L or 300L, the threads are on the left side of the bottom of the fork instead of having a lock nut outside of the fork, but this case just here, so actually it's good, it's flush, so it doesn't damage the lock nut. MD47's got like even the indented hex key inside, but this one's outside. Anyway, so if it's aligned, you should be able to like tighten the axle shaft by hand smoothly without any friction. If it's not smooth, then you need to align. Loosen the one side of the fork, with this case right side, which is not threaded. Loosen 4 bolts of clamps, both top and the bottom, but not so much that it is easily fall off, just enough to allow a bit of resistance. Then move the fork up or down until you find the point where you can spin the axle shaft smoothly. The CRF 250L has got a front fork, it's called SFF, a separate function forks. One side is spring, one side is damper, so apparently it's not going to be the same size. So you don't need to worry about the top of the fork if it's not level. The important thing is the level of the axle shaft. So you just move the right side until you find a spot that is smooth. You can smoothly move the axle shaft, and that is the point it should be. And now it is butter smooth. So yeah, I stop here, and then I'm gonna lock the all those 4 bolts. This is 32 Newton meter. So as you can see here, that was the original position. So it's about 2mm difference. This is the right side fork. The top cap is almost same level as top bridge. And this is left side fork. The top cap is about 2mm higher than top bridge. Apparently it's because of SFF, separate function fork. Perhaps also because I haven't done any overhaul. Spring could be tired, I don't know. But anyway, 2mm difference. Top is less important than the level of axle shaft. So let's put the front wheel back in. I'm not really big fan of this one because this collar always comes off. I'd like to know any tip. If anyone knows. Need to slide in the disc into the brake caliper. So as it's aligned, I should be able to tighten all the way by hand without using any tools. Like so. I think it's all the way now. I just used OEM tool. To tighten. So I should be able to undo with these tools on the way if something happens. I'm not going to over torque this one, especially with my skinny arm. So I think it's good, better than over torque. Now compress the front forks, but without brake, without front brake. Why you compress the forks before closing pinch bolts is because the forks actually moves sideways. So when you close it, it might be here or it might be here. Especially when you put the tires and collar in between, it might be slightly expanded or so you just compress the forks and then it brings to naturally relaxed position. Then you tighten. Now I can tighten these pinch bolts. Again, crisscross, sideways this case. Another tip is when you tighten, close all those bolts, the tire should not be on the ground. It should be floated. So everything's floated, everything's relaxed. Then you tighten, crisscross. Then you can lock into the most relaxed position. It's 20. The reason I don't apply front brakes when I compress the front forks this time is because I removed a tire. When I put the tires back in, I have to slide in the discs into the caliper and I have to push the pads and pistons so it is no longer aligned, and it is good to align. So I'm going to spin the wheel and then tap the brake gradually and then push the brake pads. Now, let's see. I think for me this is very smooth. Before it wasn't spinning like this, and I couldn't even tighten the axle shaft without using spanner. So that's it. I hope you get better fuel consumption and enjoy better handling.